Installment of our social recruiting seminars. Today we'll be covering how to recruit on Facebook. All of our other webinars in this series have been recorded and they are posted on our website, which you can find at employers.identified.com. I'm Jennifer Picard, the Product Marketing Manager here at Identified, and I'm joined by Eric Kostelnik, our VP of Sales.
Hey everybody, how's it going?
Identified is Facebook's professional search engine for employers. We help connect companies with people while bringing ranking and relevance to the Facebook network. Today we're going to talk about how to recruit on Facebook. This webinar should last approximately 30 minutes with 15 minutes at the end for Q&A. Feel free to ask any questions throughout the webinar by typing them into the Q&A box. You should see that on your right. Today we're going to talk about why Facebook is being used for recruitment, how Facebook's new privacy settings make it easier to use it for recruitment, and then we'll get into the tools available to help you find, connect, and hire top talent. With over 750 million users worldwide, Facebook and networking tools that are connected to Facebook will become the recruiting tools of choice. The numbers and data are just too big to ignore. To provide a comparison, CareerBuilder has upwards of 30 million static resumes at any given time, which has been built over the course of 10 years. Since 2004, Facebook has amassed over 750 million users, 155 million of which are in the United States, and 50% of which come back every single day. Generally speaking, Facebook is not the network of choice when people talk about social recruiting. While Facebook is everyone's personal network, many are hesitant to use it for professional networking as well. But each person on Facebook has an average of 130 connections. So let's do some quick math here to see what that can mean for recruiters. If you have 130 friends and family on Facebook, and each of them has 130 connections, your second-degree network is about 17,000 people. I bet you'd like to learn how to tap into that for referrals. So let's get started by talking about how some of the recent Facebook privacy changes allow you to separate your personal and professional connections, and then we'll jump right into the tools and best practices. Over the past few weeks, you've probably seen the changes that have taken place on Facebook. With Google+'s threat to take over the social media space and LinkedIn's recent IPO, Facebook has really ramped up its efforts to make it a place for both personal and professional networking. The new settings help you separate your friends, family, coworkers, and job candidates from one another with lists. Facebook has created smart lists of your work connections, family connections, and school connections, as well as a list of everyone that lives within 50 miles of you. You can also create your own list, such as one for job candidates, which we'll show you how to do in just a few minutes. With these lists, you can send targeted updates for your status to each one of them, meaning you can send job postings to your candidates, you can send personal updates to your friends and family, etc. You can also use these lists to choose who sees which parts of your profile. You can block your job candidates from accessing pictures, personal email addresses, your wall, and anything else you don't want them to see. So to see what your profile looks like to certain people, there's also another feature they've put straight on your profile, which is the View As button, which allows you to see your profile as one of your friends does. So now we're going to switch over to screen share. I'll show you exactly how you can do all of this, so please try and pay attention. If you're only on the teleconference, we'll try and explain it in the best we can so that you can visualize this process, but it's really best if you just tune into the screen share so you can see what we're doing on a step-by-step basis.
Also, this is being recorded, so if you are on audio, feel free to go to our resources tab on employers.identified.com, and you can view any of our pre-recorded webinars at your leisure.
So right now you're seeing my screen. Apparently my friend's son wants to look like an 80s rock star. Please ignore any personal messages on here. This is my personal Facebook profile. And I'm going to show you right now how you can use your own personal Facebook account for recruiting. So first I'll show you how to create a list. I'll show you how to update your professional information, and then we'll jump right into how you use it to recruit. So first, let's take a look at how to create a list for your job candidates.
Hey, before we get into this, Jen, I think it's important for everybody to understand that there are a lot of changes that are happening with Facebook, and actually a lot of changes that have happened this week. Currently, Mark Zuckerberg is in front of the F8 conference and all the developers and entrepreneurs, including our CEOs, talking about how Facebook is moving towards this social revolution and really driving a lot of the open source social media and making sure that everything is open and available and able to share. The one thing that he's probably not going over a lot is the privacy settings, and that's a question that we get a lot, and that is how can we block certain information from certain groups of people that we've started engaging with on Facebook. And so today, I think the biggest takeaway that everybody should have is that Facebook is changing to better use it for professional means. Now, Facebook will never come out and say that they are an enterprise recruiting solution, but companies like Identified are taking the helm to really help, number one, you understand Facebook and how to recruit from it for your organization, and then also as an app developer to pull information from Facebook to make it more relevant. So I think the two main takeaways are for you is the privacy settings, how to make sure that you can recruit from Facebook, and then the Identified profile and what companies like Identified are doing to bring relevant professional information over to their apps to make it searchable. But let's go ahead and move forward on the list section, which I think is very cool.
So on the left-hand section under lists, you can see there's a link for more. You'll want to click on that.
So we're actually this is something that you can do, follow us along on your own personal profile as well. Everything that you see here is nothing special. This is just Jen's personal profile. So we encourage you to start creating your lists of close friends, family, coworkers, and then some of the more recruiting focus of this, and that is kind of the job seekers or the opportunities for recruiting on here.
So as you can see in these lists, there's a couple for my past employers, each of the schools I've attended. There's one for the Oakland area. Those are all smart lists that Facebook has created for me based on finding that information on my friend's profile. I'm also allowed to add people to restricted, acquaintances, and close friends, and it does suggest people for me there. But right now we're going to show you how to create a list for your job candidates. So go ahead and enter in the list name. We'll call it Job Candidates. We'll click on Create List, and we'll be taken to a page where we get to add friends. So right now I'm going to go ahead and add Eric Kostelnik as a friend to this group. And there he is. So one of the cool features about these lists, too, is you get to see specific, basically like walls, your news feed only for that group of people. So if you want to see only your newsfeed from your family, you can. If you want to see just from your coworkers, you can. And if you just want to see what your job candidates are talking about, you just click on that link and here you go. So now that we've created our list, we're going to update my profile and choose what people on this list can see. So we're going to go to my profile.
Facebook is also making some updates here, and it's a little bit buggy, so you'll have to bear with us if it's a little bit slow or if things aren't working properly. They are rolling out a whole slew of new functionality during this F8 conference, so just want to make sure everybody is aware of that. But let's go ahead and get into the editing of the profile.
So we're going to go into the Education and Work button, which you can see on the left. And you can see all the jobs that I've worked at. We can edit them one by one. What I really need to do is add in descriptions for each one. I've been lazy, as I'm sure a lot of you have as well. This isn't a feature that's always been available. So, I just want to say, what I do here, I am awesome, obviously. Eric has taken over my account.
So this is something that we get a lot of discussion about as well, and that is, hey, Facebook just is not a professional location. It doesn't allow for a professional interpretation of me as a job seeker or as a recruiter. Well, this has changed here over the last year, and you can see how much more information Facebook has added. Now, they're not going to come out and say that they are an enterprise solution, but what they are doing is giving you the ability to list the prior work experiences, prior education, and as well as see that information within your network. So companies like Identified using Facebook Connect can then pull this information. So the stat that you're probably wondering about as well is, so what percentage of Facebook users currently enter work experience or work history? And that's about 50%. It's tracking around 47 to 50%. And you might think that might be a little bit low in comparison to LinkedIn, but if you play the actual averages here, LinkedIn has around 100 million users, maybe a little bit more now since they released their IPO. Facebook, with the 50% of those users entering work information, that amasses over 350 million users. So it still is a very much a larger pool of candidates with professional information in it than a LinkedIn. It's just taking companies like Identified, pulling that information out to provide ranking and relevance around that information. And we'll show you how to access that from Identified a little bit later today.
So from here, we'll go ahead and save the changes, and now I can control who sees which profile information. So you can see right there, I don't mind if everybody sees my work history and education experience, but I do mind if people see my contact information. So let's go to that tab up on the left for contact information at the bottom, contact information. And I'm going to block my job candidates from seeing my personal email address, my IM screen name, and my phone number if I have it. So I'm just going to go down into custom. Friends can see it, but I'm going to take out the list. So there's my job candidates. I'm going to save those changes.
So this functionality, this list, this is why list is so important, is that you can put candidates or work friends within a certain list and mark that professional or however you want to list that, and then you can actually set those privacy settings up so they won't be able to see your information, your personal information, your wall post, or your photographs on Facebook.
So now I'm going to save those changes and go back to my profile. They've put the button, as you can see, up on the View As. You can now see what other people see when they look at your profile. So I'm going to type in Eric's name here and see if my privacy settings worked. So, you know, he can't really see much of my wall. If I go into my info, he shouldn't be able to see any of my contact information that I use for, you know, my personal life, which really does a really great job of separating out my job candidates from my friends and family who I would want to share that information with. So now we're going to show you about posting jobs to your profile with these lists. So we'll just go ahead and start by writing a post. So let's say I'm hiring for a marketing person. I can choose who receives that post. So I can send it to public, which means I'm sending it to everybody all over the internet, whether I'm friends with them or not. This post will be publicly available to the world, which is why you see a little icon of the globe there.
And this is actually different from the past. They didn't allow you to post things that were now going to be searchable by search engines like Google. So this actually, posting information like job opportunities to your post or posting it to the walls of people that you have in your lists actually are now, if you select the public side of things, you can actually push this out to the public and it will be searchable all over the web. So I think it's very interesting, and I think that another cool thing about some of the new functionalities with Facebook Places is that you can actually list where this opportunity is in. So I can say, hey, this opportunity is in
San Francisco,
California. There it is right there. Yeah. So here's the opportunity. If I want to list, hey, this is, you can access it by going to www.identify.com/careers. That's where you can find it. Now, a lot of you are probably using, especially the Fortune 500s that have joined us today, are using ATS programs that will actually allow you to push out notifications to your Facebook walls as well as your company walls. Well, I'm not sure if they've caught up to the changes within Facebook. I can probably say they haven't. There are these additional functionalities that you should be aware of and that you should be promoting out to your recruiters. to say that if we're targeting specific locations, if we have targeted lists that we want to start building within your personal profiles, these are the ways that you do it. And we suggest that you do forward this video along from our resources tab to recruiters that might be interested in further advancing their knowledge within recruiting on Facebook.
So let's go back into the targeted posting here. Like I said, public will go to everybody. That includes all of your friends. And if you're anything like me, your friends start getting kind of annoyed about your work stuff being posted all over their wall. My friends don't care that my score on Identified has increased since yesterday. They don't always care that I'm posting a marketing job because it's not exactly relevant to them. So what I can do is I can make this post go out only to my job candidates list by selecting that there, which essentially allows me to use my wall as a free job board, which in my opinion sure beats paying $75 a post on Craigslist and upwards of $300 on some of the other sites. The caveat to this is obviously that you have to be friends with your job candidates on Facebook, and by doing the list, it makes it a lot easier to separate those out. So now we are going to talk about getting your company page set up. So you can use an existing company page, but I'd really recommend creating a career page for your company. You can start simple or have a more complex page built by a third party, but you can essentially use this the same way you would use a profile, except that you don't have to reciprocate your friend requests because people just like your page. So you can post on this page like you would any other message. I'd suggest making them a little more exciting than the traditional job descriptions. Try and sell like the exciting aspects of the job. Try to give candidates an idea of how they'd fit into your company, how they could make a difference in your organization. You also want to provide engagement and communication and the right content to keep your job candidates returning to this page. So you might want to mix it up, make it a little more than just a job board, add pictures, add videos, allow candidates to see why they want to work for your company. You can add a blog feed if you have one. But one of the great new features that's been added is the ability to get recommendations. So you can see over on the right, recommendations from friends. You can ask your current and past employees to do this. You can solicit these from fans of your company, or people just might do it all on their own. So since people really like to interact, you should probably allow your employees and candidates to post to your wall. You can do this by going up to the top and clicking on Edit Page. And make sure that those buttons are checked off. I really think that this is a great idea to do because when people interact on your page, their posts show up as notifications on their personal profile, and then your reach is extended to their network. So basically, if I write on your wall, my friends all see that post, and they might go to your page and check it out, be your friends, etc. And for this reason, you should also encourage your employees to post on your Facebook page so that their friends are now notified of all of your upcoming job opportunities.
You could also view the insights of your career page. The one thing that we didn't cover was actually creating an Identified Careers or your company's career Facebook page. Right now, Identified, if you search for us, you're going to see 3 brands and an app. Obviously, the app is our organization and the service we provide off of Facebook, but the places that we have here, you'll see that it's Identified, Identified for Employers, and Identified for Careers. So we decided to create 3 brands, and it's important for us to separate the brands. One is for our user base, and that is for job seekers or salespeople or individuals that wish to create a professional marketplace out of their existing Facebook network. Identified for Employers are for companies like yourselves that allow more professional B2B information and how to social recruit. And then Identified for Careers is our employment brand. And so all 3 of those brands are going to be separated. And we believe that keeping those separated is going to provide additional experiences and more fruitful experiences for the people within each one of those brands. So the one thing that I did want to cover, and we're going to run a little bit long on time here, but I did want to cover the ability to enter a location for a job posting now. So if I post a job, so here's a job, I can post this, and then I can also customize this posting to enter it as a location. So I want to say this job is in San Francisco, California. And so now, and you have to speak English. Now this posting is going to go out, and it's only going to be shown to people's walls that are in San Francisco, or people that see our specific position here advertised. So the advertising of these postings and the places that these postings go have now been advanced and allows you to better target individuals based on location on Facebook. And that's a new functionality along with the list side of things.
Another great new feature is called Sponsored Stories, which is really new. I haven't seen it on my own walls yet, but it would show up in that right-hand column along with the sponsored ads. And it basically allows you to increase the visibility of posts to your company page. So there's 7 different types. I'd recommend starting out with the following 3. A page post story, a page like story, and a post like story, which means that anytime somebody likes your page or your post, their friends will see that sponsored story on the right side of their page. And when you post to your page, the sponsored story will show up to all of your fans.
So the sponsored story is actually not showing on the right-hand side right now, so you'll have to play around with that on your own. That's one of the new functionalities they released.
In addition to the sponsored stories, Facebook also offers advertising to reach people that have not yet liked your page. So we'll go to the bottom of our page here, click on advertising, create ad. We'll fill out this ad information. And the great thing about this is that it allows you to target your ad by location, age, sex, interest, education level, and companies that person has worked for. So for example, if you're a travel website, you can target people that are interested in travel, that live in San Francisco, and that have worked for, I don't know, let's say a travel agency of some sort. So I'll go ahead and add in a little image here. And so right here is where you can add in all of the information. On the right, you can see the estimated reach. So let's say we want to look for people in San Francisco. We can also put in an age. So if we want 2 to 5 years experience out of college, we probably want to put the age range as 23 to 28. And from here, we can do an exact age match. We don't really need to do that, though. We can add an interest. So many different options here.
So the one thing that if you are posting a job on advertising on Facebook, so let's say that part of your strategy in 2012 is going to be Facebook ads and promoting ads on the walls of individual users. You can actually start targeting people that work at specific organizations, and you can see, like, I want to target people in San Francisco that have worked at Google that are between the ages of 23 and 28. You can see that my ad will actually go out to 3,820 people that have worked at Google and that are between the ages of this in San Francisco. So this becomes more targeted, for recruitment purposes. It definitely is a great opportunity for organizations like yours.
So you can see the estimated reach for that target was about 3,820. It'll show to all of those people, and you only get charged if somebody clicks on it. So it's really easy just to control how much money you're spending on the Facebook advertising. Let's move on to groups. Facebook groups are a great way to find and engage with talent that holds a particular interest. So you can find marketing people on the marketing-related groups. If you're a nonprofit, you can find people that are interested in volunteering. So you would search for user groups by going into search. You want to say, see all results. On the left, we'll click on groups, as you can see here, and we'll just add some of these groups. So we'll click on join group. Now we can contribute to discussions. We can post jobs. We can ask for referrals. The possibilities here are pretty endless. It just increases your reach for people that may not be a fan of your company page or a friend of you personally. So now we're going to talk about how you can use a free identified account to filter through your Facebook connections easier than you can on Facebook. And we'll finish up with an identified for employers demo to show you how to search brands and engage like never before. So I'm going to go ahead and pass the screen over to Eric for this. Let's see. Eric, you actually haven't joined my webinar.
Oh, okay, let me do that real quick.
Did you just want to do it on my computer?
I think I can bounce on here. I'm just joining as a panelist, right?
Yes. So we're just going to wait for Eric to log in really quickly. Sorry about that.
You can enter your snide remarks on the right-hand side.
Yeah, does anybody have any questions so far? Let's see. One of the questions, if I already had privacy settings, will they be deleted? The answer is no. Your old privacy settings are still intact on Facebook. They've really just given you more control over them so that you can customize it a lot easier than before. Another question, is Google Plus a threat to Facebook? With about 10 million members, yes. It's experienced tremendous growth in the past 6 months, not as much now, but it's definitely putting pressure on Facebook to come up with some of these changes. It's been said that the lists were a direct response to the Google circles that have been coming out. So, yes, they're absolutely a threat to Facebook. Let's see, another question. How effective can this tool be for someone that does not have a Facebook page? I'm not sure if you're referring to a personal page or your company page. I'm assuming a company page. It's actually really easy to get started, but we have shown you how you can use it from just your personal profile, how you can use Facebook groups. You obviously don't need to be using all of these different ways to reach people. They're just sort of all of the ways that Facebook has given you. Another question, let's see. When adding professional candidates on Facebook, how do you keep your personal information private before you add them to your list? I would suggest creating the list first, then inviting your professional candidates, and as you add them, you have the opportunity to add them to the list at that time. So if you're already friends with them, then they're already kind of seeing stuff, assuming that they are looking through your feed. But otherwise, I wouldn't worry about that.
All right, Jen, I'm going to go ahead and get started here on the identified side of things. Let's see if I can log in.
It'll probably be online.
Yeah. Sorry for the technical difficulties, folks. We'll go ahead and get started here. Be very brief, and then we'll open it up for additional questions. So, as everybody probably knows, within the last couple weeks, Identified has gone through some changes. Obviously, we have released our beta product out to the press starting on Monday. We've been covered in several publications, including Forbes and TechCrunch, throughout a lot of the social media sites as well. There has been obviously a lot of questions regarding Facebook and Identified, and specifically Identified's ranking and relevance scoring system that we've set up. And I think it's important just to address some of the questions just before we get into this, since we do receive quite a bit of questions via email and through our sales team. So number one, I think just to address the questions about the ranking side of things, the reason why Identified took the tact of actually providing a ranking to people is that we believe that it's time to expose information that recruiters and companies have been viewing forever, and that is specifically for job seekers. You know, companies like CareerBuilder and Monster have been ranking resumes and ranking job seekers, you know, since they started through a lot of their tools in the resume database. And I think that it's important for job seekers to really understand how they stack up against other peers that might be applying for jobs at certain organizations, or how they stack up against the current employees that are at companies. So if I'm a VP here at Identified and I didn't get the VP job at Google. I want to know what it takes to be a VP job, to get a VP job at Google, and who some of those high-ranking individuals are. We believe that the ranking system is based on 3 things, and that is 1, your work experience, 2 is your education, and 3, something that has not been reported on since the introduction of Klout and Identified, and that is your network and the people that you've surrounded yourselves with. And it's kind of going back to the old adage of your mother saying, you are who your friends are, and making sure that hanging out with the good people will get you good places. And you can see, through a lot of your profiles that your network scores are very impactful to your score, your overall score, because of the number of people that you've surrounded yourselves with. So I just wanted to make sure that everybody was understanding about the ranking side of things. If anybody has any questions, the more information that you enter about yourself and about your positions that you've held, the higher that your ranking gets. And then the more people that join Identified that have worked at your organizations at the past or currently, the higher your ranking of your organization gets. So it's very simple when it's broken down. What I'd like to cover today is how to use your current profile and for specific sourcing, and then also how to use Identified for Employer subscription for additional filters in order to empower your recruiters and your hiring managers with additional functionality. So Identified is Facebook's professional search engine. Let's go ahead and get into the actual user side of things. So we're in Jen's current profile. And you can see that there's some new introductions that we've made here, specifically the professional marketplace, which I think is very cool. You can see who's been viewing your profile. You can see the companies or people that have worked at the organizations or currently work at the organizations, what type of scores they're viewing, as well as maybe universities and people that have gone to universities and the scores that they're viewing as well. So let's take a look at Jen's profile here. So getting into her profile, she has 503 first-degree connections and 1,300 second-degree connections. So we're going to go ahead and search through some of this information. You can also see some of the top-ranked connections within your network, as well as the places that you've worked and your education. So if I want to take a look and just search for a salesperson, we're going to do it very broad here, and see how many salespeople Jen knows within her network. It's a very easy search functionality up here, and we're going to go ahead and get some results. So with the search functionality, what we're doing is actually allowing you to search through your first and second degree network, as well as the Identified user base. You can see how many companies, people, and universities that she's connected to. Some of the search functionality allows you to see and filter through professional background and educational background. Now, the thing that we do hold back is location-based searching, as well as the downloading of resumes or seeing how you're connected to specific users on Identified. That comes with a Identified for Employer subscription, which I'll go over here momentarily. But just take a look. We allow you to search through relevance and score. So relevance is actually how many people or the profiles that are unidentified in your first and second degree network that have the relevant score of sales, and then you can actually filter it by the actual score. So if I want to see who are the top salespeople within Jen's personal profile, as well as the people that are unidentified, I can go ahead and see this. And you can see that Jen can see the people that she's connected to as well, and that is just on the second degree side of things. She's connected to Ben. She can message directly to Ben here that, hey, you got a high score, interested in speaking with you about an opportunity here at Identified. And here's how you send a message to Ben. You can also go into Ben's profile, take a look at Ben, his education, his score, his network, and you can see what makes Ben so great, and it is his education as well as his connections. You can also see his top-ranked connections for anybody that you might want to target. So that is a very short version of the user side, and now I'd like to go into the Identified for Employers account. So I'm going to go ahead and log out. Very important to log out of here first. And we're going to log into Identified for Employers. So this is the Identified for Employers side of things. So we're giving you a peek onto, what you would subscribe for. Currently, we have a seat model set up, and I'm going to show you just some additional filters that you can use. Now, this is, once again, the professional search engine of Facebook. We're taking Facebook information as well as information that has been entered within identified profiles to help you search. You can also see some of your activity that your account has, and this is specific to each one of your recruiters. So based on the seats, how many you need, they would have their own logins and the ability to message users here. So very briefly, what I'm going to do is just search for salespeople, and then I'm going to go ahead and edit the filters for San Francisco salespeople. You know what? I'm actually interested only in people that know an employee. Now, this button right here is something that you don't get on the identified.com user account. You also do not get location within the identified user account. There are some other educational functionalities, as well as taking a look at people that you've messaged or have applied or clicked the apply button on the profile. So let's take a look at people that live in San Francisco that are a salesperson and that knows an employee at Identified. It can show me here Adam is with Bain. He knows Brendan. I can go ahead and take a look at Adam's profile. He has his email address in here. I can message him here. I can also message Brendan to say, hey, Brendan, is this guy a good guy? Can I talk to him regarding an opportunity here, or would you recommend him? This bolsters your referral network, and then you can message directly to Adam here and see any other communication that you might have had within the past. So this functionality actually becomes very useful within your recruiters. Identified is growing tremendously right now. We're targeted to have over 100,000 users by the end of the week, and as far as the overall Facebook profiles we've cataloged, we're in upwards of about 25 million right now. So we are growing tremendously. We are offering, obviously, very low-priced options at this time for subscriptions on Identified. If you'd like to lock into a subscription, please feel free. But I think the most important thing is creating an Identified profile and really accessing your personal database that you have within Facebook. That's going to conclude our webinar for today. Let's just see if there are any questions. I know we've gone over. I do apologize.
We actually have quite a few questions. I don't think that we want to make everybody wait through all of them so we don't go over. We promise we won't keep you here past 11:45.
Let's see if there's any that we can just briefly answer. And then what we'll do, if we don't get to your question, we'll email you the answer to your question. Or you can contact sales@identified.com with your question, and we can get back to you.
We'll also post the answers to these questions on our blog today. So I'll send you that link with the presentation after we're finished here. Top question, why is my Identified score low?
Okay, so the ranking questions obviously have been coming up pretty tremendously here as we gain more users, but the reason why your Identified profile might be low is that on the scoring is low is that you haven't either entered enough information regarding your profile, or we don't have enough information about the university or company that you have attended or currently work at. So the progress that you can make within your own personal profile is that the more people or the more recruiters or employees that you get to join Identified from your organization or from your university actually impacts the score of your Identified profile. So it will benefit you and actually bolster your ranking and your network through inviting more people to use Identified. You don't necessarily need to invite them as a friend on Facebook, but the more people that you get on Identified, the better the scores.
Another question is, my company's not listed on Identified. How do I get my company listed up there?
If your company isn't currently listed, there are a couple ways that you can do it. Number one, you can invite as many people as you possibly can within your organization to join Identified. That will then start indexing your company on Identified, or 2, you would purchase an Identified for Employers subscription, and then we could automatically put your organization up and get you start getting you engaged. Looks like there's a question here: is how do we target people with geographical locations on Facebook as friends that are spread across the globe? The good thing about Facebook is that when we talk about those 750 million users, it's not just the United States. Everything that we showed you today as far as the targeting individuals with the Places functionality is available worldwide. So to answer your question, everything that we showed you today is available worldwide. Another question is, how effective can this tool be for someone that does not have a Facebook page? So the question, I think what Lisa is referring to is, how effective can Identified be for someone that does not have a Facebook page? So that actually is a great question. We are not effective for people that do not have a Facebook page on Identified.com. But you do not need to have a Facebook profile to join Identified for Employers. So that's the benefit of the company side of things, and that is that you can search through the Identified users without actually having to personally set up an Identified profile, and then you can go ahead and search through Facebook profiles even without having a Facebook account. So another question is regarding demographics, and are we going to replace LinkedIn, or do we believe that we're going to replace LinkedIn? And I think it's important to say that we are not trying to replace LinkedIn. We believe LinkedIn is going to be a fantastic resource and continue to be a fantastic resource for companies that are looking for people that are over 35 years old or with greater than 14 years experience. The data shows us that the audience in the United States for LinkedIn under the age of 35 is roughly 8 million. That same audience for Facebook in the United States is 120 million, with 50% of those on average entering work information. So we are building a platform on Facebook that allows you to engage with Facebook users, and then allows you to professionally rank and interpret this information and connect with them. Just like Monster needed a career builder, just like Google needed a Bing, LinkedIn needs an Identified.
Somebody asked, what is the cost per click on Facebook advertising? And that's actually the beauty of the Facebook advertising platform, is that they leave that up to you. So the higher cost per click that you choose, the higher your ranking on people's pages will be. So if you choose too low, then other ads will beat out yours. Yours might not show up at all. So you just want to play around with it a little bit like you would with any other advertising medium. I think that pretty much wraps it up today. There were a few more questions that we'll get back to you. We'll go ahead and email you the answers. We just don't want to go over too much today. So thank you for joining us, and have a good one. I'll go ahead and email everybody with the recording and the answers to the questions in just a couple hours. So thanks again for joining us. Please tune in for our future webinars. We hold them every 2 weeks. I believe the next one we're aiming for October 6th.
Yep.
And that will be about creating a resume database out of your Facebook network.
Thanks, everybody, for joining us. Take care. Bye-bye.